Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 3-0 Take, where we talk all things Major League Baseball. Here's Kyle Corwin and Nate Reyes. It all starts right now.
Ooh, welcome back to the 3-0 Take, presented by SeatGeek. This is episode 516. I'll be your host, Kyle Corwin. I'm here with my co-host, Nate Reyes. Nate.
Howdy ho, hitting you guys early for this weekend pod. That's what I think we could just call it, a weekend pod. Look at all the people in the chat. Look at all these slackers. All these slackers that are just quote-unquote working.
Should be working.
Yeah.
I mean, what does that say about us?
It's a good move. You throw one AirPod in, put on the live, sit at the desk. Maybe you're on a drive.
Well, no. We're not encouraging watching a live while driving. We're just not going to do that.
I will.
I'm not. I'm officially going on record.
Move.
The official stance, the official position of this podcast is that we do not encourage consuming
Where's my boo
said
button?
show. We do not.
I got to change those. I don't like these. I don't like these buttons.
No, that's the consensus. We do not condone consuming this podcast while driving a motorized vehicle. With that said, Nate.
Visually.
Yes, visually.
See?
Let's talk some rivalries.
Yay!
Let's talk some rivalries. You know why? Because there's nothing going on, and even more so on top of that, flipped on the MLB app, can't even really watch any ball right now. I mean, I've got the A's and Cubs pulled up, and I'm not going to go into the rant that I went into last episode, but I've got the Angels and Cubs pulled up. It's pretty much the only game that has a broadcast today that I'm seeing, maybe a couple later, but we're just kind of in baseball jail right now, which is fine. We have ways of making it work. Even so, we're going to talk about sort of an idea that came to me. We're going to talk about the forecast of rivalries for this season, because I think something that you and I have talked about. Shout out Laura in the chat. See, Laura says she's listening to the Dodgers-Rockies game right now. That's a true baseball fan right there.
This is what really, like, what are we doing? It's Thursday. Like, why can't we watch any games?
Listening to a spring training game, that is dedication. Shout out Laura. But what I was getting to, and I'll put up the little like and subscribe reminder here for those coming into the chat. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. You and I have sort of touched on this over the last handful of years, where there's a shift in landscape with a lot of these rivalries. Some are, let's just call it like it is. Some are dying, falling by the wayside, are no longer maintaining true rivalry status. On the flip side, you've got some new ones that have been blossoming, that have been sort of filling the void of those other ones that we love to talk about so much, but are no longer. So I figured, let's look ahead to this season, see what we've got down the pipe with some of these matchups, and maybe we could even do a little bit of a joint ranking at the end of the segment to maybe rank which ones we think are going to be the most heated per the title. What do you say about that?
I say, should we like redefine? Can we put out a definition for rivalry? Because I think it's a broad spectrum in most people's eyes. And I don't know, because like, if we're going to break it up in percentages, like when we were growing up, the tradition of rivalries covered like 50% of the prerequisites, right? Now I feel like tradition maybe 25%, maybe less, covers the requirement to fall into a rivalry? I don't know, man. Like we'll get into it. There's some that are just very dead that.
Sorry, my internet cut out. But I gathered what you were saying. I think, well, I mean, you've got your standard list of ones that we can, and you may have said this when you cut out, so forgive me if I'm repeating what you said. But you've got sort of your standard list, that the ones that people think about: Red Sox, Yankees, Dodgers, Giants, Cubs, Cardinals, and more as you go down the list. But like I said, the landscape is shifting. And I think it's worth talking about, especially you got new names in new places, new faces in new places, if you will. And it's creating a shift in where I think the attention is being given when it comes to these rivalries. And I think some people need to brace themselves if they're a fan of a certain team, and understanding that, like, the rivalry that you may covet, which you can still do. Like, we're not saying, well, I just don't care about this matchup anymore. But just understand from like a national point of view that it's becoming less and less important. And I think we may have some hearts to break later as we dive into this a little bit. But, you know, do not worry, because like I said, there's some new matchups that I think are becoming more and more exciting, and that I think will give us quite the source of entertainment. Not just this season, but hopefully moving forward. So let's get into it. Let's start with the one that you and I are most familiar with, and that would be the Red Sox and Yankees. And by us going down this list that Nate and I have constructed, this does not necessarily mean, again, we sort of just went on and on about it. These are not all rivalries that we think are going to live up to the hype this year. We're just addressing some pre-existing rivalries, and we're going to talk about maybe some new blossoming ones. But we're going to sort of give our take as to where we think these rivalries are headed in terms of their trajectory. So as I said, let's start with the Red Sox and Yankees. I'll start by saying, and you can back me up on this, I think for the last, call it 2 to 3 years, that this rivalry has been on life support.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
Putting it lightly. Well, that's what I was going to say, is that, like, when tradition, if we're talking about what makes up and defines rivalry and whatever percentage you want to associate with tradition, I think it's the understanding that all rivalries go dormant for chapters. It's the length of that chapter that I think allows you to lean on that tradition or not. This is obviously a top tier rivalry in not just baseball, but all of sports. So we can fall back on this and allow a few years for it to go dormant when one or the other team isn't necessarily competitive, and maybe the juices aren't flying as much.
With that said, and I agree, I think I'm turning a corner. I think we're there. Now, I won't even say we're getting back to where it was. I think there's potential for it to head back in the right direction if you're a fan of either of those teams, or if you're just a general baseball fan that likes a good rivalry. Got good news for you. I think this one has a chance to be revived, because I think you've got a lot of young talent in the waiting in the wings, and some of which has already arrived. That if those names are handled properly, I think you have a chance for these guys to be around a long time. And that's what we talk about all the time, specifically with this rivalry. You need guys that just aren't bopping in for a year and hitting the road. Like, you need guys that have enough time with those respective clubs to learn to just dislike each other. And I'm not going to sit here and condone just hating people for hating people, but I mean, come on, it's baseball. We love a little bit of, we love some bad blood every now and then. And with the names that are coming up with Boston, and now that The Yankees have offloaded Soto. We were talking about before we hopped on, a little bit of a, or I should say more of a level playing field. They're going to be fighting for their own. They're going to be scrapping and clawing for the top of that division because, like we talked about, it's up for grabs, I think, at this point. And I think this has, would we say this 2025 is a little early, or would we say that this season has a chance for the seeds to be planted?
No, I think the seeds are able to be planted. I think 2025 feels right. I think what makes this so good is that like there's a little cocktail of like hope, I would say one side more than the other, progression this offseason. And then also like X factors / question marks, like, hey, we're not too sure, right? Like when you talk about some of the additions that the Red Sox have made, like great on paper, but still like, how is Lucas Giolito going to come back from injury, right? Like how does he slot in? How much are they going to lean on Crochet being a full-time starter for just his second year and like not having an innings limit? Like, you go to the Yankees side of things, like is Goldie and Belly, like do those additions, their mindset shift away from like, all right, let's try to get guys that play these actual positions, can be better defensively and can maybe be a little more athletic. Does that make up for the loss of a big bat like Soto? So like there's so much that each team has shifted as far as mentality goes, as far as roster configuration goes. And then there's also the spark of you got your dudes mixed in. And like the Red Sox now have a lot of dudes. And then you have your young guys that are like, okay, like was last year real? You know what I mean? Is that Wilyer Abreu cat real? Is Jarren Duran capable of being in an MVP conversation? Does he back what he did last year, right? Like, so you have some of these names, you're like, there's a lot here. There's a lot here to unpack. And I think it could be a really, I mean, we're not going to get too deep into the weeds here with like predictions or anything, but for me, those are the top two favorites in the division. I think that's what the consensus says. So yeah, I'd say it's back. And it also helps that you have some of these young guys that like grew up like with our era almost, obviously younger, but like grew up kind of seeing this rivalry, right? And, just like Volpe grew up a Yankees fan. And so obviously he's like, this is the rivalry. So maybe this is his first year experiencing, okay, now the Red Sox are for real for me being in the league. And does that add some spark, right? Like, you got a hated Bregman that Yankees and Yankees fans can't stand. Now he's playing for the enemy, the true enemy. So like, there's a lot to this. I think this is going to be, I think we're back. I think you and I are going to get back to the way, because it's been a little flat in that category.
If the Red Sox could extend Garrett Crochet, the two names that come to mind for me that I think could really lead the charge in like the bad blood department, if you will, Garrett Crochet and Jarren Duran.
Jarren Duran, 100%.
Jarren Duran. Right there with you. Because, I mean, Garrett Crochet's got a little bit
more scared of him than anyone else on that roster.
Right. From a positional player perspective, yes. But I feel like Garrett Crochet's got a little bit of that FU to him, too. And if you can lock him down for beyond what he's currently scheduled to be there for and actually make him a part of this, those are two names that I think could play a huge role. The
Yankees are like heavy lefty lineup right now. So, like, yeah, that's a part of the equation for sure.
Let's keep it with the Yankees, but let's go a little interleague here. Yankees Mets. I'll let you kind of dive into this one. As we mentioned, the aforementioned Soto heading across town, and like we talked about, it's in terms of game played, it's going to be rather limited. So it's not a matter of on field, like the product that you're going to get on field, but it's more about, I think, storylines, more narrative, more fighting for a city. How does this rivalry shake out in 2025?
I think it's gonna be pretty good, and it may be carried more so by the fans than the teams, just for like the lack of opportunities playing each other. But yeah, I think it's gonna be spicy. I think there was something to that Aaron Judge quote where he was like, "I'm not surprised he went there," when he was talking about Soto going to the Mets. I think there was a little something during the negotiations during the offseason where, Soto hadn't talked to any of his former teammates. He changed his number. The obvious comparisons of what the Mets were willing to do to sign him versus what the Yankees weren't willing to do. And it wasn't just overall salary number, right? It was like talking about the suite, talking about the shopping spree for the family. Like, those types of things are going to help kind of fuel this fire a little bit. But I think mostly it's about the Mets fans finally not just having like false confidence or manufactured confidence. I think they can have true confidence in this team for the first time in a while. And I think that's what's going to, there's New Yorkers already don't lack confidence, but when you add some success into the mix and then add a really good offseason into the mix, it's good. But for me, like, I'm not trying to sound like a homer here. I just don't see how the Mets did enough in the pitching category. And especially going into the season with some injuries, like I think that's a very big hole. And I'm sure they're going to plug it at some point. I'm sure they're going to be early to fill that role, that hole a little bit with some moves, but that's something to watch for. We already talked about all the, kind of wild cards with the Yankees and differences this season versus last. But
sure.
Yeah.
How much or how little do you think Soto's going to lean into the questions that you can already assume that he's going to be getting about this? Do you think after having watched Soto for a year in New York, do you think he's going to sort of, not in like a cowardly way, but do you think he's going to shy away from the questions about, being across town from his former team? Or do you think he's going to kind of give it back to him a little bit? He's going to lean into it. Which, if you had to bet, which angle do you think he's leaning more towards this year?
Give it 1 year, and then he will really lean into it. He's going to be there for a long time.
That's fair.
So I don't think there's any need to like rush into it. I think it's when Judge starts creeping into 35, 36, 37 years old, and he's starting to fade, and Soto can officially be the star of New York and arguably sports and like New York sports in general. I think that'll get louder as the time goes. I feel like this first year, it depends on the matchup, depends on how they play each other. I don't think he's going to lean into it too much. I think it's still like I was grateful for my time over there. Fans treated me great teammates, the copy and paste answers you get.
Not trying to ruffle too many feathers right off the top.
And then as things get spicier, he's gonna obviously show his alliance being heavier to the Mets. That's my guess anyway. We'll see.
Speaking of the Mets Braves. Now this is an interesting one because I think, as you and I have sort of discussed, I think, well, I know based on what we're hearing, a lot of people are forgetting about the Braves heading into this new season.
It's weird, right?
Rightfully so. The Mets dominated the airwaves this offseason, understandably so. But a strong Braves team is going to have a strong, healthy Braves team is going to have a very solid case for winning that division.
Yeah. 100%.
Like You're eventually going to have Acuna back. You're going to have Strider back. You're going to have Sale coming off a Cy Young season. Like,
yeah,
I understand it's a Soto show in Queens, but like we talked about, this isn't basketball. You're going to need a little bit more than a star or two.
Right.
And I think, again, once you get everybody back fully healthy, this Braves team, I think, is going to have a lot to say, both on and off the field, about this divisional dynamic. I don't think they're going to lay down very easily, especially given their track record from the last, call it, decade even, of just dominance in that division. So I don't know. I think this is one I'm probably looking forward to, maybe not the most, but close to it, just given the chip on the shoulder that I think the Braves are coming into this with.
Yeah, I agree. I think everybody can look at last year as a wash, as a fluke, as a, you got dealt a really rough hand. And the Braves, did they check every box this offseason? No, but neither did the Mets, right? You got a lot of guys coming back. I think it is like a do or die time for a few players with the Braves. Like, I'm not quite ready to say it's do or die for like an Austin Riley, but it is time for him to like solidify himself in that next tier. Michael Harris, same thing, right? Like, Michael Harris is giving me like, and it's a weird comp, but like he's giving me like Gary Sanchez vibes of like, you came in and everyone was like high praise, you look good early, and then it hasn't really like taken that next step yet. So I'm ready to see Michael Harris like really settle in and be like a top 5 center fielder in the game. Matt Olson is going to always do his thing. Ozzy Albies, Acuna, Ozuna's good for 30, walking into a season, he's going to have 30 minimum. They do believe that shortstop's a hole. Barcia is not really kind of checking that box, but like, it's so funny how we dissect team and rosters now, where we're just like every position has to be top 3 in the league, and it's just not realistic. Like, you have to understand that's not how it works, man. There's too many jobs and not enough guys to fill those roles. So I think if he can play solid defense and hit above 250, I would call that a win out of Orlando Arcia all day. So, and then can Strider come back? Can the beard instead of the mustache be the move?
Mark my words. If that beard stays, that's going to be the X factor for the Braves this year, for Spencer Strider and more largely the Braves.
And I'm not in the camp that Chris Sale's Cy Young was a fluke. I'm not in that camp. I think he's always had that stuff in him. And like you know better than most, like it's been weird injuries mixed in with some like typical pitcher injuries, but it's also been like fluky, weird stuff. So for him to be healthy and finally utilizing all of his pitches the right way, like that's a top 5 1-2 punch in the league if they're both rolling right. So, yeah.
Keeping it with the Braves. How are we feeling about the Braves Phillies this year? Because I'll start by saying, or I should say, I'll start by reminding people. I think I already know where you stand, and feel free to remind the folks as well. But I'm giving this Phillies team, the Phillies as they're currently constructed, this window that we've been witnessing for the last 3-4 years, that's been building, that's made deep runs. I hope I don't regret saying this. I'm going to give it one more year.
I know you are.
I'm really trying to hold out for something, and I'm hoping that, like we talked about, with the Braves coming into this season with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, the Mets thinking that I'm just guessing, I might be wrong, but maybe there's some guys in that clubhouse in Queens that think they're just going to walk right to the division title and not have to put up much of a fight.
I think there's going to be sorely mistaken, but I do agree that there's some thought process that's
so where does that leave the Phillies? Do the Phillies come into this season with an even bigger chip than the Braves on their shoulder? Is that a valid question to raise?
Yeah, I think there's more pressure on the Phillies than the Braves. Everybody's getting older. That window's getting a lot shorter. I like the rotation depth. I really like the rotation depth. That's a strong starting five.
Jesus Luzardo, we said it before, a very underrated move that it just got slept on. I feel like a good bit of this offseason.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That rotation, it looks solid. We'll see, man. We'll see. I'd like to see them in the hunt again. But the NL is just so freaking deep. So I think this will get spicy. I think the NL East is going to be very spicy in the top half of the division. I think a lot of these teams are going to get their punches in throughout the year. I think these three teams being where they're at right now is going to have August and September as almost must-watch TV when any three of these teams play each other. I think that's what it's going to feel like. And we were talking off air. We're not going to go ahead and connect the dots between Phillies and Mets. I think most people can agree. I feel like the Phillies and Braves rivalry has a little bit more to it than the Phillies and Mets. But overall, this is going to be a super tight division, man. And let's face it, dude, the Phillies still have some stars. And I like the rotation depth more than the other two teams. So they're going to be up there. They're going to be up there.
You mentioned the National League being stacked, sort of leading the charge there, leading the pack. I think everyone knows the Los Angeles Dodgers. They've got, let's look at a few matchups, we'll call it, for the Dodgers. One of which being the traditional rivalry, as it were, the San Francisco Giants. The more recently blossomed rivalry of the Dodgers Padres. And then the one that I think you wanted to add to the list, the Dodgers versus everyone else. The rivalry of the Dodgers versus the field.
Yeah.
Where do you want to start?
Well, let's get the Giants out of the way. That rivalry's dead. I'm sorry. And like I said before, you have your tradition, and then you have this chapter that you're allowed to be dormant. And if you're dormant for too long, you can't fall back on the tradition anymore. And unfortunately, the Giants, I can't get there. I really can't get there. We're talking about most projections probably having them finish fourth in the division. And you're not able to hang anymore. So I like what you did. I like Willy Adames. I like your left side. Willy Adames and Matt Chapman, you're going to play defense. You're probably not going to score a ton of runs, but you're going to play good defense. And because of where you play, you're going to keep the ball in the park. And you're not going to get torched, but you can't hang with that Dodgers lineup. And their pitching blows you out of the water. It's too big of a gap for me.
Sort of separate to the rivalry conversation. And we'll revisit this when we get to our hot takes and predictions episode that we do every year. But I could see this Giants team put together a wild card bid. I really could. I can't. They are, like you said, the league that they're in is rather stacked, but I don't know. I think win total wise they could get there, but they're just going to be up against a lot of other teams that are going to be there.
They're stuck in a really tough division. They're stuck in a really, really tough division. You put them in the Central and they're in the conversation.
That's fair. Yeah.
The West is just it's really, really tough, man. Yeah, I just can't get there. And it's been too long.
I'm trying
for the Giants.
I'm with you in saying that I think the Giants-Dodgers rivalry is but again, separate note. I just want to be on record as saying that I have good feelings about the Giants in 2025.
Save this receipt. Let's revisit here.
We can revisit it. We can revisit it. The Padres sort of sliding in, taking the place of the Giants, for good reason. For good reason. Let's just call it like it is. For good reason.
They're entertaining. They have spark. They have flash.
Again, I really wish they would have capitalized this offseason on the momentum. Granted, it got cut short in the postseason, but I really wish you would have taken that postseason or the postseason matchup against the Dodgers and use that to fuel an offseason where you're just not going to roll over. And they comparatively they rolled over, and now it's sort of leaving us wanting more coming into 2025. But I still, with that said, I still don't think. No, let me just say this. I think there's still potential for this rivalry coming into this year, but you're going to need, I'll say this, you're going to need more now out of who's there than you would have had you supplemented it, and then you could have alleviated some of that pressure from the guys that are currently there.
Yeah, just in a weird place with their ownership, and the owner passing away and lawsuits back and forth, and not knowing when and how to spend money. Like it's a lot of strange stuff. There's strange rumors. So it feels like one of those things where like sometimes you can have a team join together and disagreeing with their front office. Like sometimes it's like a us against the organization like type mentality that I think could work. So it's weird because I think that there's going to be a bigger gap this year between the success of those two teams, but I think the rivalry still stays. Does that make sense?
Sure. Yeah, I would agree.
I think that there's still a lot of spice there because of your Machado and Tatis that just are always going to keep that alive. That's just who they are. But I don't see the Padres taking a bigger step towards success versus last year. I don't see them even taking the same step of success that they did last year. I think there's a little bit of a slide.
And this team regression
could look pretty different post-deadline. So that makes me wonder. But I do like the rivalry. I think it's still solid. I think it's still, I don't think it's going anywhere. And if you can keep that core around, which contractually it seems like, those two guys plus a young, fired up Jackson Merrill is going to be in the mix. Like all that's key recipe. So I think it stays put.
Speaking of staying put, I think this rivalry between the Dodgers and literally everybody else is going to be around for a while.
It's good for baseball, man.
It's great for baseball. As you hate it. Yeah.
As much as you hate it.
It's great for baseball. And I think what Mookie said, what was it was it going into last season talking about is going to be everybody's World Series essentially. That aged rather well, I will say. And I think that sentiment carries over to this year, to next year, the year after that, and maybe even for maybe I'm getting ahead of myself here, but maybe even for the next decade. Yeah. Because the Dodgers are just showing no signs of changing their philosophy when it comes to adding stars. They're not showing any signs of changing their where they finish in the division, therefore putting themselves in a perennial opportunity to make a run if they're not going to win every World Series, obviously, but they're going to have arguably the best shot year in and year out for the next half decade, maybe more. So it's going to be a situation like the Yankees faced many years ago, where it's going to be, why can't we be them?
Mm-hmm.
If we can't be them, then we're just going to choose to hate them. And I think that's where that's where a lot of people already are with the Dodgers. I feel like.
I think it's too early to call it this, but it's got all the makings to become a dynasty. Like it's shaping that way. And there's not, like you said, there's not going to be a fall off with how they're doing things. All these guys are locked down long term. And they're still pouring money into their farm, development, scouting. It's not going anywhere. They're not going anywhere. So it's like, the rest of the league needs to get better, or you're not in contention. That's just how it's going to go. So yeah, I mean, it is going to be every team's World Series. It is, every team is going to give them their best. And it's good to have a villain. They're obviously, clearly the biggest, baddest villain in the league. So buckle up. It's going to be, you might even see like a new random rivalry pop up out of this. Something weird, something strange, right? Like, I'm not saying a long-term one. We talked about it off air beforehand, but like a few years ago with like a random Rays Yankees thing that was going on when CeCe's yelling at the dugout.
I mean,
right?
hey,
like,
this team I'm watching right now, why not the Cubs?
Yeah,
the Cubs had a heck of an offseason. They're trying to position themselves to go for it this year.
Speaking of dead rivalries, the Cubs and Cardinals thing is done. So, like,
let's just get that out of the way.
Yeah, let's get that out of the way. The White Sox are barely a major league team, so we're not going to call the Chicago rivalry a thing either. The Cubs need to direct their attention towards the Dodgers. Maybe there's a little something there.
That's my vote. I'm going to just go ahead and put my vote in now. That's my vote for dark horse, sneaky
pop-up
rivalry with the Dodgers. That's my vote, is the Chicago Cubs.
Fair enough.
As they get as they're being no hit right now, heading into the bottom of the fourth. Next one on the list.
Training games are flying, by the way. I don't know if you noticed that. It's fast.
Oh yeah.
Watched a game the other day. It was like through 3 innings. It was like a half hour. It's like done.
Speaking of flying, the A's traveling on over to Sacramento this year. I wanted to add this one to our list, not because I think it's going to really matter this year, but the effect that the relocation is going to have on this Bay Area rivalry, and that's the A's and Giants. What do we think that this is going to do? Because you look at the rivalry as it was previously constructed when the A's were still in Oakland, and the rivalry was what it was. I don't want to go as far as to say it was on life support, but it was lacking interest. It was lacking spice.
What do we got to go? We got to go back to like
that's
the early 2000s.
A good while. Yeah, a good while. And so the reason I wanted to add this to the list to discuss is because, I mean, does the relocation sort of put the nail into this thing? Because
no,
like,
I don't think so.
You think it's still you think it's still alive?
Oh, put the nail in this thing. I'm sorry. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. It's done. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
Well, let me freshen up on my geography here. Where is Sacramento in relation?
I don't know what it is about California, but everything seems like it's like 4 or 5 hours apart.
Correct. Well, it's a big state. Okay, so it's looking for Oakland here. Where the heck is Oakland?
Is Sacramento nice?
Sacramento
is that a nice place?
Not from what I've heard, but
better than Oakland.
Never been. I haven't heard great things about Oakland either.
I haven't heard the best.
I don't know. So why is Oakland not showing up on the map? Like, it's in this area.
Closed.
It's just closed. It's
Poor
no longer.
Oakland, man. Can you imagine losing 3 sports franchises in a
Unreal.
decade? Like that's actually crazy.
So it's okay. I see. Right. Duh. Yeah. Across the bay. It's east of San Francisco, and then Sacramento's a little northeast of San Francisco. So distance wise, definitely a little further. But I just think with the direction that the A's are headed, I don't know that that's going to help this whatsoever. So I'm just going to go ahead and say that this is
dead.
Yeah. So shout out to Laura in the chat. She said she loved living in Sacramento. So maybe there's something.
It's like a little more inland.
Maybe there's something redeeming when it comes
California
to Sacramento.
is a different vibe. Like it's like almost 2 different states when you get off the coast. I noticed. Like when you get inland, it's like, is this still California? It's so different.
For sure. And last one I got here. Rangers Astros. We've talked for some time now about how we may be looking at finally the come down of the Houston Astros. A little bit of a dismantling of the window of the, what would you call it?
Dominance?
Yeah, a dismantling of the dominance a little bit. For many reasons. Age, contracts, trades, free agency. There's a lot of factors that play with the Astros. But
name of their ballpark?
I would argue that's the biggest factor here at play. But I think the Rangers are, I don't know. I'll admit, I have a hard time pegging the Rangers as like the new team, like the new sheriff in town in the long-term sense. But I feel like currently they're kind of the new sheriff in town. But they're not, at least my opinion, my humble opinion, I can't say that they're the new Astros because I don't think they're set up, that they're constructed to have the same type of long-term dominance. So I guess for the time being, we can say that, the Rangers are on their way up. Astros might be sliding a little bit. You lose Bregman, you ship Kyle Tucker out.
I think the Rangers I think they've stayed in the same place. Like,
sure. Yeah. But they're still
really didn't do well last year. I think they'll do better than they did last year.
Yeah.
I think it's more so about the Astros sliding to make it kind of like you were talking about, like with the Yankees and Red Sox. Like it's a little bit more of like one team either has to elevate or one team has to slide where the other one is. So it's like a level playing field between the two teams, more so now than it's been. Again, trying to say stuff without giving away like hot takes and predictions episode at all. But yeah, man, I mean, like you're crazy to think that there hasn't been a little bit of a slide with the Astros. So we'll see.
And that's not us wishing that upon them.
Yeah, no.
It's just a reality of
their
personnel moves.
Just how it is.
How it shook out.
But the Rangers lineup needs to bang. They got to go. Pitching's got some question marks, but like whatever. They need to hit because like that team's too stacked to not hit. Corey Seager, stay healthy. Be who you're supposed to be.
I think it's time to rank these. Let's do a joint list here. Okay. Working our way from the bottom to the top. 5th. How do we want to categorize this? Ones we're most looking forward to watching this year, ones we think will be most heated. I mean, I know that the title is ones rivalries that will be most heated in 2025.
Well, let's go with heated.
Let's go with most heated.
Stay with the theme here.
I'm gonna go.
What do you think about
I mean, because we covered what, like a.
What about Mets Braves at 5? What do you think of that?
We covered like 10 or so. Mets Braves
In the 5 hole?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we can do that.
I kind of want to then go Braves Phillies 4.
Braves Phillies 4. I would then go
Yanks Mets 3.
Really? You'd put the Yankees and Mets at 3.
Maybe put them 4 and then
so we
Braves
went
Phillies 3.
We went Phillies Braves. No, what did we go 5?
Mets Braves. Then maybe Yanks Mets 4. Braves Phillies 3. And then I think it's a slam dunk. I think you and I both know what 1 and 2 are.
Do you really think the Yankees and Red Sox jumped up the leaderboard that much?
I think it's back. Yeah.
You really think it's back?
I think it's back.
You're going to put him at 2, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, putting him at 2.
Yeah.
And then, all right, so you are riding the wave of that last year's postseason, putting Dodgers,
I'm gonna ride it.
Padres.
I'm gonna ride it.
I like it. I like it.
Do you like that? Do you think that's a fair?
Yeah, because the NL East, like, there's to me at least, there's no defined 1-2 punch. Like these two teams are just going to go at it. It's going to be a lot of hooks, a lot of jabs. There's going to be some
that's what I'm
some
saying,
black guys.
Like it's like you have your teams that are going to win more games. I think the Dodgers are going to win more games than the Padres. Duh. But I think there's aspects of what the Padres have and bring to the table that almost feel like they can have the Dodgers number sometimes. So they hate each other. Like Laura said, they hate each other. And the core is still there. I think, it's still fresh from the postseason. I think Mike Schilt is like the perfect manager for the Padres. Just the attitude and it's just, I would want to run through a wall for that guy. So I think the Padres as a clubhouse need to like protect each other and say, hey, this organization is going through craziness. Hey, we lost and we were right there at the finish line last year. I think we got to bring it back, man. So I think you're going to see some success there. I just think that the Dodgers are a very tough mountain to climb, but it's going to bring fireworks. There's no doubt in my mind.
Whose quote was this? Whose quote was this? Who said it? Whether it tastes like milk, whether it tastes like wine, we have to find out. Who said it? Was it Kyle or Nate? 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 Whose quote was this?
Whose quote was this? You want the quote? You want the details?
Quote.
But if you have another guy or veteran, like, say John Lester is pitching for the Angels right now, he'd be like, no, we're going to need a normal schedule. I'm going to pitch every 5th day. We're not doing this every Sunday crap. You know what I mean? You get an old vet in there, they want to stick to the routine, but you got nobody in there, no one else to pitch. I don't even know who else is in there, so it doesn't matter.
Dear Lord, when was this?
This was the 3-0 Take, episode 138, Yoenis Cespedes, The Disappearing Act, August 3rd, 2020.
Bro, just dropping names, like pulling names out of nowhere. John Lester? What? I'm going to say me.
So here's the deal. I actually forgot to look at who it is, so let me just play it here real quick. We'll see.
No.
We'll see what we got.
I hate listening to myself. Please don't be me. I hope it's you now.
Who did you guess? Did you say you?
I think it's me.
I forgot to listen. So let's see who it was.
No. We're going to need a normal schedule. We're going to pitch every 5th day. We're not doing this every Sunday crap. You know what I mean? You get an old vet in there. They want to stick to the routine, but you got nobody in there. No one else to pitch. I don't even know who else is in there. So doesn't matter. Is Mike?
Good call. Yeah, Nate gets in there sometimes with just like, you know what? I'm doing this crap. You know, I don't even care who else is in there.
What day we record.
I don't know. It doesn't matter.
What kind of traffic I had on the way home. That's
I get it. Good stuff. Well done. I'll give you another.
Thank you.
5 big booms.
Doing good so far.
Let's get into this draft.
I'm pumped for this one.
So I had to make a change to the title because originally I had it listed as active hits leader draft, and that was going to be misleading because that's the assumption that we know who the current active hits leaders are, and we don't. This draft
hit total.
Yes, we're drafting by position. No research. Just off the noggin, see who knows ball. We're essentially, long story short, we're trying to compile a team that has the most collective hits, more so than the other team. So we're going to probably leave some names off, but again, no research. That's how we like to do these drafts.
That's how we roll.
Blind drafts.
Phone.
Phones away.
I'm going to, I'll put it over here. It's a reach. You won't see me reach over there.
And we're gonna see what we got here, and then I guess the plan is to. Do you want to keep track of or do you want to?
Yeah, I'll total them up when we're done. We'll just see the guy who has the most amount of hits totaled up at the end of this with his lineup will be the winner. These are active guys.
Active only, correct.
Active only, no retired. So if we have some vets that are still free agents at the moment, that's still fine. We're going to go position by position. So that's what the randomizer is going to hit us with. So we're not just randomly drafting. And we have a little twist. We're going to have a starting pitcher in there because that makes us think a little bit to go back to the days of not universal DH.
When they could hit, yeah.
And then speaking of DH, we will have a DH. But we're just going to treat that as like a free spot, basically. So basically any position player hopefully position player will be put there. Doesn't have to be like labeled as a DH on Baseball Reference or whatever.
Yeah. And again, if we stumble upon the active hit leader at that given position, great. But I'm not counting on that for any of these picks, really. So we're just going to...
Quick question out of curiosity. Was it a landslide last draft?
It was like a 90-10. Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, what? No. To be fair, the caption of the post that I put out was just go ahead and vote for Nate. That's literally what I said. I said, just go ahead and vote for Nate. And so people, shout out to them. They listened. They said, you know what?
On the internet does,
We're going to do what our friend Kyle says. We're just going to vote for Nate because this was ugly. This was a landslide. So with that said, let us get into it here. What do you want to title this draft? Because I just have it as active hits draft. Is there a twist you want to put on that? Because I'm about to put it up on the screen here for the folks.
No, I think that works. Let's not overthink it,
Active hits draft. All right.
I'm nervous for this one. I don't know why.
We're going to leave some names off. We're going to leave some names off. All right. You got first pick. So good luck dealing with that pressure.
Yeah. What position we got?
Snake draft. We have got center field.
That's such a tough one to start off with.
I mean, the outfield in general.
Yeah. Trying to think of guys that have been doing it for a while.
These drafts are tough because it makes me like, I sit here like, oh, I know ball, but I just black out. I'm like, who are even center fielders now?
Yeah, it makes you kind of fumble a little bit, like not quite sure. It's like the people that get on like the what's the thing at the end of Family Feud, like the fast money or whatever.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
What are you saying? Why would you say that? All right, active center fielders. I feel like center fielder's tough, man. It's just mostly young guys. All right, well, I mean, we're off to already like a question for the committee. Am I allowed to put Mike Trout here?
No, he's a right fielder now. We literally did a whole segment on it.
That's crazy because he hasn't played any games in right field.
He is a right fielder.
That's tough. So Jose Altuve is the left fielder, just out of curiosity. Like guys like that. Is that what we're doing?
I mean, within reason. Like if we've been made aware of a positional change, like sure, we opening day may get here and some guy may be in a new spot. But
I hear you.
Of what we know, we're just going to go based off that.
I hear you. That hurts. Center field is not. My brain is not braining right now. Oh, I'm trying to think around the league, dude.
I'm not cheating. I'm just pulling up a list of teams just so I can like jog my memory here.
Maybe this will go slower than what we thought it was going to go. You're not looking in the chat either, are you?
I'm not looking in the chat, no.
All right. Sorry, chat. You're not going to get put up on the screen. Dude, what are we doing here? Come on. Why do I feel like I'm just overthinking so many names? I feel like every center fielder that comes to mind is so young.
Do we want to make a revision here? Do we want to go? Let's just say if they play like, so for the sake of this exercise, sure, go ahead, put Trout in center.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
I'm going to go with, because who knows, he could still make a cameo.
You got an old head that I can't remember?
The question for the committee, can I put Andrew McCutchen in center?
I'm going to say no, just because of how long he's been a left fielder. It's been like 6 or 7 years now. What are you researching, guy?
I'm looking up the game breakdown. I'm not like looking up other center fielders. The last time he saw center field was in 2022 with the Brewers.
I forgot he was a Brewer, to be honest with you. I'll allow it. That's fine.
All right. So
just because you threw me a bone, I'll throw you one too. Because McCutchen's a good get. McCutchen's like got to be like top 3 of active guys anyway.
I mean, yeah. I'm gonna go. Yeah, let's go McCutchen.
I was saving him for left field, but that's fair.
Let's go McCutchen in center. All right. That means I got first pick here. I'm going with this pick. Next position is first base. Ooh. Give me. My mind immediately went to one name. And
Mine did too.
I feel like I I rushed to picks last episode, and it cost me dearly. Just look around the league here. Again, just at teams. I'm not looking at names. Oh, this is actually going to be a very, I'm going, right. He's got who has more? Who has more?
I can't figure out what you're thinking.
I'm going to, why do I feel like I think he has more? I'm going to go Paul Goldschmidt.
Yeah, that's a good one. The two names that came to mind for me, Goldie was one. And then just because of how long he's been in the league, I'm going to go Bryce Harper.
True. Yeah.
Just because he's been in there a minute.
I literally did a whole TikTok on this. Dude's been in the league, what now, for a dozen years?
Yeah. Like Rizzo was another name, but I was like, I feel like Bryce Harper's been in the league longer and has been more healthy.
You know,
but Goldie was absolutely up there.
Actually, no, I can't say it because we have a free spot. So
we need to stop rattling off names.
No, that's all right. It's all right. It's all right. Okay. Next position up. And you've got this pick first. Starting pitcher.
Oh no, this is so early for it.
Enjoy. What do you mean early? Like it wouldn't have mattered.
I wanted my juices to get flowing more.
you weren't in the headspace to pick a starting pitcher. I get it. I get it.
I guess I'm gonna go Kershaw just because of being in the NL his whole career.
Golly, that's what I was gonna go with. Give me. I wasn't even thinking of a plan B here.
Yeah, I know. I actually just came. I had another name in mind, but I just came about that one.
Oh. Ooh, give me. No, he went on. I can't. He went on record as. But was he good though? Was he good?
What has come to mind for you?
Dude, the pitching is tough. Pitching is
such
tough.
A good wrinkle. Isn't that a good wrinkle?
That's a great wrinkle, but there's so many layers to that because you not only have to have a guy that's been in the league long enough to have hit, you got to think NL. And a lot of these guys these days just bounce around more. Like you don't see guys spend entire careers with the team. So
that's right.
Oh man, this is a true test of whether I know ball. Ooh, is he still in the? He got picked up by the.
I think I know who you're thinking about.
Tell me who you think I'm thinking about. Tell me what division.
I don't even know who he plays for right now, but I think he's still active.
No. But the team that you're thinking of, what division?
I could pull a lot of teams. He's been. Maybe we're not thinking of the same name.
I don't think we are. The name that came to mind, and this isn't necessarily my pick, but the name that came to mind was Kyle Hendricks.
That's not a terrible play.
I feel like he could at least swing it.
That's not a bad play.
Whether or not
He's been a Cub his whole career, right?
Yeah, well, that's what I was saying. He got picked up, what was it, the Angels, right? Or no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Was he Angels? Whether or not he racked up the hits.
Yeah, I feel you.
Shoot.
You gonna send it?
Yeah, I'm going to go Kyle Hendricks because my other name was Scherzer, but he was literally on record.
I know.
Is that the name you were thinking of?
Well, yeah, but
he was on record
but you're
talking
only considering like the
Nationals, right? Which is he bounced
like
around the AL.
It's AL mostly, and like majority of the DH stretch or non-DH stretch was with the Tigers. So it's like, yeah, I can't get there.
Were there any other names that came to mind for you? Just like not even guys that you pick, but just
the guy that was bouncing around, like Rich Hill, like because he's been around forever and hoping that he's
not technically retired yet, I guess.
Right, exactly. And I thought he just got picked up, but I could be wrong.
I don't think he has. All right.
Yeah. Anyway,
my pick is. I like this because there's no voting involved. It's not like subjective. It's very much like total up the numbers at the end and see what we got.
You don't need sexy picks. Andrew McCutchen ain't a sexy pick, but that's gonna get you. It's gonna get you good numbers.
Yeah, not a sexy pick, but if the numbers speak for themselves, I don't need to worry about it. All right, my pick is catcher. All right. Catcher. Also, the other thing I love about my McCutchen pick is we don't even need to leave this up for vote for the listeners. But like, we can't put McCutchen at center. We agreed upon it, so that's what it's going down as.
We allowed it. Especially since both him and Trout came up as center fielders. We know we're going to remember them as center fielders, I think.
Yeah. Catcher. It's tough, man, because you just got to think about the old dudes.
I just got to check a text real quick.
Yeah, I bet.
We're good.
Is that text from Baseball Reference?
Just making sure it's not a work text. Just out here slacking. Taking a late
what
lunch.
am I doing? I'm an idiot.
Damn it.
What am I doing? My goodness. Sal Perez, come on down.
I was hoping you were going to overlook it. I really was.
There was a name that I was about to pull the trigger on, but I'm glad I
was really hoping you would.
Glad I kept circling around the league.
I was really hoping you'd overthink him.
That would have been leaving off Mike Trout from the last draft. That would have been a fail of that type of proportion.
I think that he was obviously my number one. I didn't even bank on a number two. And I think there's such a massive drop off, which sucks. So now I just got to think of old catchers. Can I tell you what's coming to mind? Like I'm like rattling off some names in my head.
That's what I did with starting pitching.
Weirdly enough, both Maldonado and Christian Vasquez are rolling around in my head, just how long they've been around.
Offensive catchers are hard to come by.
Rio Muto, but like, has he been doing it that long?
I'm not gonna lie. If we're like sort of neck and neck, the rest of the throughout the remainder of the draft,
this could be the difference.
No, not even just this. This and the starting pitching.
That
I
could
feel
be
like
the difference
those are the two. Those are the two difference.
But this
makers.
is a bigger gap. We're talking hundreds versus dozens.
Well, I don't know though. I have no idea what Kyle Hendricks' hitting career looks like or stat line looks like.
I can't think of old catchers, man. I can't think of old offensive catchers.
I mean,
You've got somebody. Just trying to think of, I mean, maybe Wilson Contreras, but he just moved to first base. So, and he hasn't been around that long.
I'm putting McCutcheon in center. So what are we doing here?
Yeah.
But I'm not going to help you out. I need to win this draft.
Yeah. Give me Travis d'Arnaud. I think he's been around a long time. And
really? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm only going to say this. I'm only going to say this because I know I'm just going to assume you're not going to pick a catcher for your free spot.
No.
Did you entertain JT Realmuto at all?
I did. I said Realmuto, but I was just like, I don't know how long he's been around.
Oh, yeah. I missed that. Okay.
Like I don't even really count his Marlins days. You know what I mean? Like I've 1 year of being solid, and then it's been 5 years. I think d'Arnaud is going to sneak up because you got to go back to d'Arnaud was like a Met in 2012. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think people overlook that.
Yeah.
All right, I'm up first. What do we got? What position?
Oh, whoops. It took
Sal Perez is a killer. I think that's the number one catcher pick, and I think Andrew McCutcheon's the number one outfielder pick. I'm going to be truthful with you.
Third base.
Okay. Good. Bro.
This is tough, man.
I know.
No. Can't do it. Got some names rattling around.
I do too. I think it's another Bryce Harper style pick. Been around longer, and I think the totals have gotten higher than people think. I'm gonna go Manny Machado.
Oh yeah! Wow, that completely slipped my mind. That's a good pick. That's a great pick. Yeah, dang. Might lose some ground here if I was even up, which I frankly doubt I was.
I feel like you are.
I'm
excited to total these up.
It's either going to be neck and neck or off by 1,000.
Yeah.
Goodness. Look, I know we've talked about it. I
wonder if this name is. I wonder what you're going to say, because I had a name and I was like, I may have to go to the committee for it.
I know there's been a report been put out there, which we've talked about very recently, but I'm of the belief that this is not settled. I think spring training is going to have a lot to say, or what happens in spring training is going to have a lot to say about who plays where.
Yeah.
Is Alex Bregman allowed to be slotted in at third base?
I'll allow it.
Because I'm not saying that just for the draft. I legitimately...
I don't think the Red Sox have come out and said it. And if anybody would know, you would know. So,
I mean, Passan did come out after the deal happened and was like, he's poised to be the second baseman. But I'm like, I don't think you can say that until at the very least you've let spring training iron itself out.
I'll allow it.
All right. I'm gonna go Bregman at third. Then another name.
I won't say the name I was. Well, no, I won't say the name I was thinking about, because we could still fall back on it. I doubt it, but we could still fall back on it. Another name that came to mind for me anyway.
I just lost it. I had one. Oh, yeah. I don't know if it's the same one, but I too had another name. Okay. Who's got first pick here? I do.
You do.
Give me a free space. Give me a free space. Give me a free space. We did first base. So we've got center, first, starting pitcher. Well, pitcher. We're only doing starting pitcher. Catcher and third base. Did third base. My positional pick is left field. Give me now that's a gotta think this one through. Left field. By the way, I'll allow it. Like if you need for the sake of time, if you need to pull up like a teams list, just to help jog some memory here, because that's what I've got. I'm not looking at personnel.
I'll show you what I'm gonna pull up.
Left field. Ooh, sort of a.
This is what I got. Okay, ESPN.
What is that?
Just the ESPN like standings page.
Oh, okay.
That's what I like.
There better not be any names on that.
No,
like,
highlighting
like any player. No, I'm saying, but like highlighting like team leaders or anything. Oh, left field. Question for the committee.
Yeah.
Which I don't even know where he's at, but I have to imagine it's a lot. Where are we slotting Soto in the outfield? We already talked about this. What's he projected, left or right?
It depends on who you look it up with.
What is RotoWire telling us?
I think MLB has it as left, comma, right. I think ESPN has right. Dude.
This is, oh man, I don't know if I'm gonna regret this pick. Oh, no. I got it. Can I confirm if this, sort of like I did with McCutcheon,
Yeah,
can I confirm with this player?
If
he did,
I'm just saying, like, if you go to his BR page, like, I feel like you got to be.
I promise you, I won't look at his number. I promise I won't look at the number. I looked at McCutcheon's page, couldn't tell you how many hits he had. I swear on my life. I just want to make sure that this particular individual, because this would probably be my pick. If so, yeah, give me.
No one's coming to mind for me right now.
I'm gonna go. Am I gonna regret this? Where does he stand versus Soto? Although no, I think we're gonna put let's keep Soto in right.
Yeah,
if you even want Soto, you may not want Soto. I don't know.
I feel good about that. I think Soto and right's fair.
I'm gonna go Chris Bryant.
And
left.
Like that could be sneaky.
That's either a sneaky pull or a stupid mistake.
That could have won you or lost you the draft.
I don't think so.
I have no names coming to mind, by the way.
There is a name that's coming to mind. Similar vein. Could be sneaky, but I just don't know if the number is there. But in terms of tenure, in terms of posting,
yeah,
I'm giving you hints. I shouldn't be doing this. I'll just say that the opportunities were there for this individual, but I obviously can't tell you who it is in case you would choose him.
Like, I'm struggling right now. No.
The outfield's tough, man. It gets tricky
Outfield
because
is really tough.
guys just like bounce around. Maybe this pick just won me the draft by default. If you can't, if you're gonna throw some freaking scrub down.
I had a name, but it wasn't like a confident enough name to remember. No, I've lost it again. Question for the committee, I guess. Can I go Kyle Schwarber?
Yeah. For left?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not a ton of hits. Doesn't get a ton of hits.
Sure doesn't. But that's, I mean, if you're trying to like,
I feel like I really overlooked some people.
That's, I mean, yeah. And the people listening, the people watching, guess what? We're gonna be missing some real obvious names here, but that's
off the dome, like been around a minute. Because you can't just think of like the new names. You got to
think of the new names. You can't even think of the best players in baseball right now. You got to think of guys who have racked up the hits, who have posted and had the games played to give themselves the chance to rack up hits.
Yeah,
AKA posting, as I said. The next position, you got first pick?
I got first pick.
Right field.
All right, let me go around the.
Oh my gosh. Well, it's still fair game. Oh, that's a dagger. It's a big oversight. Big oversight.
Right field. Dude. I'm just going to go Soto. I'm going to try not to overthink it.
Give me...
I'm trying to even think of like...
I mean, who... Hold on.
Ooh. No. Doesn't play enough.
I guess give me... Give me Judge. I mean,
2017. The end of 2017. 2018 is the first full year. So that's 7 years. I mean, it's not like chump change.
I mean, I was just trying to rack my brain for like a right fielder that's posted, but I was like, even if I could find somebody, I feel like Judge maybe had accumulated more, but I may be way off on that. So we will see.
We will see. So second base, shortstop, and DH/free space.
I'm kind of hoping the free space is last.
Oh, I wonder if that name could have totaled up a decent amount. I bet it could.
I got first pick here on this next one.
Yeah.
All right. It is... Stop giving me catcher.
You can't eliminate him?
No, it should. Second base.
Shortstop. Okay, second base.
Second base. This is going to be one where I'm going to. Ooh, is this individual still active?
Second base.
Question for the committee.
Okay.
Can I slot in as a free agent who is yet to announce his retirement, which I don't think it's coming?
I think I know what you're doing. Yeah.
Whit Merrifield.
All right. I'll allow that because I have a name that fits that same category. It's tougher, though. It's a tougher play than Whit Merrifield.
I mean, if he
Whit Merrifield's good.
As of right now, still active. So call it beating the buzzer.
All right. Since you got it pulled up, I don't feel like searching it. And also, it's a committee.
Sure.
Still active. Robinson Cano.
Dude, no. He's playing like in Saudi Arabia or something, isn't he?
He's still swinging it. I just was curious.
Absolutely not.
All right. Then can I do Jose Altuve?
Oh, shoot.
I think if we're allowing Mike Trout and McCutchen to play center field, I feel like we got to allow.
That messed me up because in my head, I was thinking the outfield.
Yeah.
But then I forgot we shifted guys. Fine, whatever.
That might have just closed the gap between our catchers.
I mean, don't sleep on Whit Merrifield. I mean, I know Altuve's got the hits, but let's not sleep on.
All right, shortstop, DH.
I mean, Whit Merrifield was the hits leader, every year for like a half decade at least?
Yeah. We'll see.
Let me look at.
I don't know about that. I mean, I feel like that was a bit of a stretch, but
the pick is in. I'm looking at the black ink here. All right, it was 2 years, but yeah, let all of baseball 2 years. That's got to be worth something.
Yeah.
But yeah, Altuve, good pick. Shoot, dude, if I had Altuve, a draft is over.
It's possible.
I think. Okay, what do we got left here?
Shortstop, DH.
Free space.
Mm-hmm.
What do you know? Shortstop is next up. And you have first pick?
You do. No, I do. I'm sorry.
No, I went with Merrifield.
You're right.
The worst is when you go second and you win the pick. Like you went second there, you get Altuve, you win the pick because I'm an idiot and forgot that he was eligible for second.
Yeah.
And then you get to pick first.
I'm going to bank on not overthinking it. I'm gonna bank on not overthinking it and go Mookie.
All right. I'm gonna go. Oh, no. Can't do that. I'm deciding between two names here. No, wait a minute. Hold on.
It was a big oversight.
I'm genuinely curious what the difference in hit totals are for these two individuals. I don't foresee you using them as free spaces, so I'm gonna.
I got my mind locked in on a free space.
Okay, I'm gonna request some gamesmanship here. And that you're not stealing names from me, but I like thinking out loud here.
Yeah. I wonder if I can guess the 2 names, but it's your category, so I can't.
Well, I'm not deciding between these 2 names. There are 2 people in the mix.
Okay.
But I would say there's probably 3 names I'm deciding between.
There's 3 names that I have in my head. See if you can get all 3.
I would be curious to know the difference in hit totals between Carlos Correa
That's 1.
and Frankie Lindor.
That's 2. And there's a 3rd name in my head. But I agree. That's a good question.
The 3rd name in your head, I already know who it is. It's Dansby Swanson.
Nope.
Ooh. It's not Trevor Story.
Nope.
Yeah.
No more help. And I don't know if you'd take him above these guys anyway.
At short?
Yeah. I don't think I would take him above.
Oh, you're thinking Willie Adames.
Nope. No more helping. I'm not helping you anymore. I'm not even going to answer anymore.
Right. I know exactly what you're thinking of. Give me.
If you go with this name, that's the opposite of gamemanship.
But how do I know what name you're thinking of?
You do.
I don't. No, it actually could be one or. No, I genuinely don't. A name popped into my head when I started looking around the league, but
just go with a shortstop. We're over an hour and a half now.
Give me Corey Seager.
Trey Turner was my other name.
Yeah, see, exactly. That I thought I wasn't going to steal Corey Seager because I'm like, you may not even be thinking of Corey Seager.
Yeah.
All right, and
start her off with the DH, buddy.
Who's your shortstop?
Mookie.
The
key to victory, it seems.
All right, you ready for this?
Yeah, I think I know.
You have no idea who I'm about to pick.
I think you're going to steal it from me. Go ahead.
You don't know who I'm going to pick.
Go ahead.
The free spot. We went right field, second base, short. I don't know why I'm writing these down.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I don't need to make a graphic. Ready for this?
Yeah.
What team? Honest God, I know who I'm picking.
No, I'm not doing this. Just say it.
I know who I'm picking. All right.
No.
Or do I know who I'm picking? It's between 2 names. Give me Carlos Santana.
Wow, good pull. That was my safety net name. Great pull.
And I know who you're going with.
Who?
No, I'm not doing this. Who are you going with?
Free spot for Mr. Freddie Freeman, who I think has got to be near 2K. And I was actually upset that I didn't pick him over Bryce Harper. And I was like begging for the chips to fall to where I got DH first. But Carlos Santana was my fallback. Sneaky name that I had in the hopper.
Shoot. Freddie Freeman's actually the current active leader. Yeah.
Boom.
You want to know who's third? Well,
Carlos Santana or McCutchen?
All right, hear me out. Actually, no, this is easy. We can tally some numbers here. Freddie Freeman has 2267.
Okay.
I'll just have you do the math. I'll retrieve the numbers. You do the math. Jose Altuve, 2232.
Are you just doing my team or?
I'm going down the list here. And then we'll fill in the gaps elsewhere because I know we didn't get this whole list.
2232
for Altuve.
Okay.
McCutchen, 2152. Goldschmidt, 2056.
Nice.
Machado, 1900.
Even?
Yep. Neither of us picked Nolan Arenado. Carlos Santana, 1789.
Attaboy.
None of us picked Charlie Blackmon's on here, by the way. Don't know why he's on here.
Retired.
JD Martinez, nobody picked.
Third safety net name, but
my second safety net was DJ LeMahieu, 1738.
Whoa, that's a big
Xander
number.
Bogaerts. Actually, it's short. Wow, that's surprising. Not gonna lie.
Is.
Bryce Harper, 1670.
Okay.
I hate to say it. I think you got me on this. Mike Trout, 1648.
I'm not seeing any low numbers. Travis d'Arnaud could have been detrimental. I feel like that was a big
It's true.
mess
Yeah,
up.
maybe I won this in the trenches. You got the sexy picks. Maybe I won this in the trenches. Who knows? Mookie Betts, 1615. I feel like I've just listed off your entire team.
You have pretty much.
Ooh, nobody picked Christian Yelich. Nobody picked Nick Castellanos. Nobody picked Anthony Rizzo. Nobody picked
Castellanos came across the mind.
Nobody picked Justin Turner. Sal Perez, 1571.
Good for you. Justin Turner came across my mind. I was gonna ask you about third base until I came across Manny Machado in my noggin.
Nobody picked Jason Hayward. Nobody picked Starling Marte.
Did come across my mind.
Nobody picked John Collar Stanton.
Did not.
Nobody picked Marcell Ozuna. Okay, what do I need to look up?
All right. Let's go Soto and Judge. Let's look those numbers up.
Juan Soto, 934.
Tough.
Judge
had to have been better right fielders.
Oh, for
dumb.
sure.
That was really dumb.
Judge had 1026.
Schwarber versus Chris Bryant.
Schwarber has 905.
Tough.
Good estimate there. He's been in the league for a decade and only has
terrible hits.
905 hits. Who was the other one?
Chris Bryant.
Chris Bryant, 1062.
Oh, no.
This is
Alex
what I'm
Bregman.
saying. I may have won this in the trenches. I'm curious about Bregman. Oh, Alex Bregman, 1132.
Corey Seager. Surprisingly low.
1151.
Whoa, that was higher than I thought. Whit Merrifield, this could make or break here.
1249.
Whoa.
I like it.
Travis d'Arnaud.
753.
Tough. And the fun one. Let's go Kyle Hendricks first, just because I'm curious.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about the pitchers. Shoot. Okay, let me find this here.
I'm gonna say 9.
Give me hitting. Did you say hits?
Yeah.
You're guessing 9 hits for Kyle Hendricks?
Yeah.
Over 8 years. Well, 8 years of hitting from 2014 to 2021, he accumulated 37 hits.
Whoa.
How about it?
And Kirsch.
Yeah, I feel like you got me here.
I don't know. Could end up being pretty bad.
Standard hitting for Kershaw. Standard hitting.
Also,
give me.
I think the committee would have voted it down, but Ohtani for starting pitcher would have been a strategic play. I think that would have needed to be voted down.
No, that we're not allowing that. 113 for Kersh.
Whoa.
13 years.
Let's go.
That's
All right,
big.
buddy.
That's big. Is that
Time to
everybody?
total up. That's everybody. You rattled them off pretty quickly when you were looking at the tops.
Oh boy.
Here, sorry, I'll run it down as I'm going. So Kershaw 113, Travis d'Arnaud 753, Bryce Harper 1670, Jose Altuve 2232, Mookie Betts 1615. Oops. Gotta hit plus. There we go. Machado 1900, Schwarber 905, Mike Trout 1648. Soto, terrible pick, 934. Freddie Freeman, 2267 for a total of 14,037 hits.
In the chat, AJ, we got Trey Turner at 28th active on the list.
Yep, that's
28th on the active list is what I'm going to say.
Kyle Hendricks,
1352.
37. Sal Perez, 1571. Paul Goldschmidt, 2056. Whit Merrifield, 1249. Corey Seager, 1151. Alex Bregman, 1132. Chris Bryant, 1062. Andrew McCutchen, 2152. Aaron Judge, 1026. Carlos Santana, 1789 for a total of 13,225.
All right, so what were the numbers again?
14,037 to 13,000.
14,037.
Yep. For a difference of 812.
Wow. Not bad.
That's not terrible.
I mean, it's not terrible. Off the dome.
That was hard.
That was hard,
dude. My brain. Looking back, would you have done anything different?
One sec. What was my number? 13?
225.
225 to your 1437.
Yep.
Would I have done anything different? I would have put. Let me see where he is on this list. I'll
tell you real quick because I'm not looking at the list. I would have put JD Martinez in right.
Honestly, JD Martinez wasn't even on my radar.
How's he on that list?
He's funny enough. He's 9th.
Whoa!
I would have tried to figure out a way to get DJ LeMahieu in. I don't know why I went Whit Merrifield. He's 32nd on the list.
That's decent.
Whereas DJ is 10th.
Yeah.
And then I have Bregman at 3rd, but the name that I was thinking about, where is Jose Ramirez? He's 26 with 1,500 flat.
Yeah, that would have been 400 more than Alex Bregman. Almost.
Which still wouldn't have done it for me, but would have gotten me closer.
Yeah.
Tough.
JD Martinez was I was so dumb to settle on Soto. That was really bad, but I'll take the dub. That's a good one. That's a fun one. I think we're going to have to run that back in maybe a different stat category. Yeah, clap it up. Did you write all this down? You want a picture? I'll send you a picture.
Go ahead, send me a picture. It doesn't matter. I mean, that's the draft. There's no vote. It needs to take place. Numbers are numbers, baby.
Just for posts.
That's the beauty of baseball. Numbers are numbers. The numbers don't lie. With that said, let's get out of here. We'll see you guys on Sunday or Monday. We'll see.
Yeah, still figuring that out. My mom's in town this weekend, so
true. Yeah.
Taking her to Royals Diamondbacks tomorrow.
That's a great matchup. That's a good
solid one.
That's a good spring training matchup.
Salt River, which is arguably probably the best spring training facility. And then hitting the Innings Fest after that. Get a little music festival after that. Long day tomorrow. And
best of luck to you, my friend.
This process taught me something. I need to remember to bring this back up once we make next steps as a podcast. I'll explain to you after we hop off. But revealed something to me, and I need to make it known once we move on. Anywho's, you guys are great. Thanks for sticking it out. Anybody that's stuck around for almost 2 hours listening to two idiots
shout out,
try to drum up some names off the top of their dome. Well done. Shout out to you. And get back to work. Don't go chasing curveballs.
We love you all, and as always, looking forward to talking more baseball with you guys soon. Until next time, stay filthy.